Hello and welcome to a special simulcast edition of the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast and the Listing Agent Lifestyle podcast. I have been on a whirlwind tour. I've been in Toronto and Chicago and Phoenix and St. Petersburg. And right now, today we have a great podcast with my friend James Schramko. Now, James, you may remember from our periodic podcast. Normally, I go to Australia each year in August, and we record, when I'm there, a special episode to catch up on the year. And James is an amazing entrepreneur. He's got a wonderful business, lives right, in a beach community in Australia called Manly. And he's got a wonderful lifestyle business where he surfs every day, and he's got an amazing, wonderful experience of business and life. So we have a lot in common, and we have a lot of great conversations when we're together. And this one just happened to be, we were both speaking at an event in St. Petersburg, and I will be in Australia in a couple of weeks, but we decided let's go ahead and record our podcast now. We had a great conversation, a lot about lifestyle elements, and I think that you will enjoy this episode. Here we go. Here we are doing our periodic podcasts. This is 5 or 6? Yes, it's one of those. It's number 5 or 6.
Out of 25.
Of 25 of the periodic podcast. And, for those people who were following along, they would know that this podcast normally is scheduled to take place in August.
Yes.
And it's already October. So they might have been thinking, have they already given up after 5 years into their 25-year commitment? But no.
No chance.
No chance. We had a schedule change.
We have. So you're actually coming to Australia in November this year.
I am.
A little bit warmer than usual.
Well, that's the thing. I've been 5 times, and I got spoiled because the first time I came, it was beautiful, high 60s and just sunny and nice. And the second time I came, it was a little bit cooler, and I thought, just a little cooler this year. And then the next year I came, it was kind of back up again a little bit, but still on the cool side. And then the last 2 years that I've come, it's just been
freezing.
And last time I was there, you saw we did the podcast in the freezing cold house.
In a cold house where
yes.
It was almost within the limits of bare feet. Yeah, and I remember you said, why don't they just put a heater? And I said they probably can't afford it. And you said, why? I said, because this house would have cost a fortune. And you said, well, how much would this house cost? And
right, exactly.
You were off by at least a digit.
Exactly.
Your estimate. So here we are. It's actually much warmer in
beautiful
Florida. And I've had the great pleasure of visiting your home, which was a nice gesture. You invited me out there to the ranch and got to see what life's like for Dean. A lovely place there, very quiet,
yes,
idyllic, rural-esque.
So, yeah, I mean, you didn't really get the whole, you came in the back way, and I kind of live on the edge of town. And, but yes, very quiet, especially where I am, like even in my development there, it's very idyllic and quiet.
Yes. It is idyllic. I could see you could get a lot of things done in that environment. Like it's super productive zone and set up for comfort. And I also had John Carlton.
Yes, what a great visit. We had some fun. So John came in a day ahead, and we spent the whole day together, and then you arrived the next morning. So
it's like when you're traveling with royalty, you send them in early.
That's it.
To reconnaissance to check
You're
out the
advanced
place.
Man, yeah.
And got the all clear.
Yeah.
And I said, guys, I'm supposed to be staying at the Hilton. You said, the Hilton will survive without you, John said.
Yes, that's exactly right.
But we're here now, and we've been at this event Kevin Rogers' event, Copy Chief Live 3. And it's going well.
Yes. I've been at all 3.
Right. This is my first one.
So
last year was prohibited because of
St. Petersburg is a buzz. They're a buzz about.
They're a buzz with copywriting marketers.
Yeah. No, the news that James Schramko is here from the land down under.
Yeah, well, not the only Australian here. There's
That's
quite
true.
a few,
That's,
it's a long way to come, but it's definitely worth it if you're interested in the sort of topics that get talked about here.
Copywriting.
But beyond that, there's been some themes coming through the presentations today about mindset, about how to turn that individual expertise into an actual productized service and then grow and scale those businesses, and to use some devices that take you beyond just writing words and seeing yourself as more than that.
And it's really cool. I mean, Todd Herman had a great talk about his alter ego effect, and it's funny because it's the most common thing that he gets is people say, yeah, I've been doing that, like not really thinking about it as alter ego type of things, but it's a natural thing that we do that we don't talk about, or that you realize that we have been doing things like that. Especially you with you were even so far with the Superman. Underneath, it was really the closest thing to really alter ego.
Yeah, it's like I remember asking myself that question: who do I need to be to get the results I need to get? And I also remember realizing how powerful the mirror is. When you look in that mirror, and you can empower yourself to be whatever person you need to be. And even one of my mentors used to make me watch movies like Patton. And I think he was trying to instill some of in the role that I had as a general manager, he wanted me to have some general Patton leadership attributes. Like, I don't think he wanted me to slap people with their glove, but he did want me to, be feared by the enemy, and that guy was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And he also used Rommel's tank warfare book against Rommel on the same battlefield that he wrote the book about.
I didn't know that.
That was a classic.
Oh, that's the best.
There's so many metaphors in that movie, but one of my favourite ones is the scene where they're coming up to a village and all the troops are backed back. And he comes up in his little jeep and he's like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, there's a hold up on the bridge. So he gets the jeep to drive all the way down. They're being shot at from the other side of the river by the enemy. He flies down the outside, they get down to the bridge, and on the bridge is a donkey and a cart, and it won't move. So he goes up to the donkey, he shoots it in the head, and they push it off the bridge. and now, because seriously,
oh man,
one donkey is holding up his whole platoon, and they're getting shot at.
Yes.
That's the constraint.
Yes.
And he just eliminated the constraint. And they could cross the bridge, take out the enemy. So that was probably the single most powerful metaphor in that book about theory of constraints, about not letting one bad egg cause the whole platoon to go down.
Yes.
So when he found an unsatisfactory employee, he would come up to me in my office and he'd say, James, and I say, yeah. He goes, donkey on the bridge. And he would point, and I would have to go out and metaphorically remove the donkey.
That's hardcore.
It was
donkey on the bridge.
That was code for get rid of them.
Oh my goodness!
But there was a lot of lessons in that. But I would have to channel my general pattern in that moment to do something that was difficult for the better good of the business.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing. Because when you think about it now, the many roles that we play, like, you're a new father, but you're also an old father, and you're a newish husband, and you're a business owner, and you're a surfer.
Like I'm a new surfer, but I'm also an experienced older man.
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
I was at a surfing cafe, and some kid scrumpled up a paper bag off his meat pie and just chucked it on the floor. And I looked at where he dropped it on the floor, and then I looked up at him, and I looked at the floor, and I looked at him, and then he looks at me, and I'm like, "You're going to pick that up, right?" He goes, "Yes, Dad." It's like, he had this attitude.
Oh, man.
And then he just walked out. He didn't pick it up.
Dad. Oh, man.
It's like, wow, it's like you have all these roles in everyday life. You have to choose which one do you want to be.
And it's amazing when you get to choose and actually like think through, who does this character need to be? And
Right.
that's an interesting... I like that idea a lot.
Even John Carlton said today, you've got to wear many hats.
Yeah.
It's another way of saying
Yeah,
you can
and
be
even the
multiple.
copywriters talk about it in voices, having a different voice. And
So everyone's doing multiple
Right.
personalities.
Yes.
Now it's become okay to talk about.
Yes. That's it. So what's been your big developments over the last year since the last periodic podcast? Because it's a good thing too.
Well, produced a human.
Yes.
So
that's a big...
in personal
Yeah, you
life,
produced a human. Yeah.
that creates quite a lot of scenarios. But one thing it made me extremely conscious of is I noticed the absence of sleep in the beginning. Like, it's devastating in terms of the change in sleep.
Yeah.
I was doing brain training apps, and as soon as the baby came, I couldn't reach my peak scores anymore. Instantly.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It makes such a difference.
Wow.
And then I was really fortunate. Oh gosh, at least I've got a good routine and I control my schedule.
Yeah.
I've been disciplined with my 3-day work week.
Yes.
And I was very fortunate that I've leveraged things to be able to operate with the baby.
Yes.
I spent a lot of time. Up until this trip, I have not missed a single day, even during the pregnancy. So that was a realization, but it made me even more want to leverage my time. So I went through some rate changes in my packaging. Mm-hmm. I simplified.
Now, not just, the rate changes you were describing to me,
they're significant.
Not talking about a 10
so-
times rate change, like a 10x.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
in one program it was a 10x change, and in the other program it was would have worked out at 3.5
4
times.
times, yeah.
So I just realised, my time is actually more and more valuable, and I'm much more experienced, and I'm attracting better clients. I've got more data. I'm getting great results for everyone I work with, and no one says no to the pricing. So in tune with that, I actually increased the value of the offer. It's not enough just to change the rate. I changed the design and look and feel of my everything. I got all the sales copy tuned up, because I got help from Brian on the previous episode. I went through how that worked. But he was able to message me better than I was and convey the value that now matched the rates. And I also added extra features to the existing members that made it really great value for them. Especially when anyone who was on an older rate, they get the benefit of it. But new members coming in are still getting a great deal, which is evidenced by, this week alone, while I've been away for a week and a half so far, I've actually had a record week in sales.
Perfect.
Right, and as you've said, and even on your presentation today, a lot of the things you're doing haven't changed for the last 7-10 years. My core thing, I haven't really changed it for now 3 months, but it's just snowballing and compounding. And then when it spikes, it's just like an extra thing. Now, I have to pay a lot more tax apparently, because my income's gone up again, and I've got to up the rate that we pay ongoing to counteract
Your quarterlies or your...
Yeah, we do.
Do you pay quarterly?
We do, yeah. We have
same thing.
quarterlies, and it's now significantly adjusted.
Yeah.
Just in the last 3 months, just from that single cluster of changes.
Yeah.
So it's not just one change, it's a geometric change across the board, and it's had a massive impact. But I'm still the same person.
Yes.
I have the same or slightly less clients,
Yes.
but significantly more dollars per effective hour that I work.
Right.
and I'm trying to work a little less.
Yeah.
And get paid a little more. I reckon there's a book in that.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yeah.
If only there was a book. That'd be a great book title.
What about, and you know what, one thing I've noticed, it's not good to assume people know everything we're talking about here, so I will direct listeners to Amazon or Audible to buy the book Work Less, Make More. Mm-hmm. Some people might be listening to this as the first episode that they've ever listened to of mine.
That's true.
And I think because we've been present for all of our episodes, we presume they know everything we've ever published.
Yes.
And rarely that's the case.
Yes.
I'm interested what's been big for you in the last time since we recorded last.
So much. Like this, I've really been aware, I've had new awarenesses about time, which it's funny that we're kind of in parallel paths on a lot of things. And we don't talk a lot in between when we get together. I mean, we message every now and then, but really it's the big annual catch-up.
Partly the 12-hour time difference.
Yeah, exactly.
10 hours difference.
Yeah. But we just know that we're in tune, and it's, enduring, and whatever. This is good to kind of document and share the things that we've learned. Well, one of the big things that's happened is this ever-increasing focus on furthering the who, not how model of thinking that, it's so much, it's better to ask who instead of how to do something, and find a who can bring the how with them. And I've been focused on, we've got a whole vocabulary around these things. Dan Sullivan from Strategic Coach, he's really taken to this idea, and he published a book about it called Who Not How, from...
So everyone would think he's invented it.
Well, he credits me right on the
right, but the fact that he's got the book,
exactly.
I mean, I use it on a slide of mine, and I credit you.
Okay, yeah.
And then I saw his book,
right,
and it made me question enough to ask you, Dean.
Yes.
Who coined this term? Right. Because Sullivan's got a book on it.
Exactly.
And you said, no, he credits me in the book.
Yeah. And so the whole the vocabulary, we keep coming up with new ways of doing this. The who-cabulary, we call it, that the idea that it's become one of the foundational things of Strategic Coach, where the first objective is to who yourself up from tasks that you could replace yourself with a who, and you're creating what we call a who'd up hours. Instead of freed up hours, you've got who'd up hours.
Gotcha.
And so the goal is to who up 1,000 hours. Right. For people who are coming with a standard 2,000-hour, work week or whatever, or work year, and so the funny thing was, I was already looking at because I've been working on this for so long, and I only do the things that only I can do. And so I did the calculations that my contribution, the thing what it takes to run my business is 417 hours of my time to run my base business. And that includes the podcasts that I do. I do 9 3-day breakthrough blueprint events. I count those as 10-hour days. So 270 of those hours are doing the breakthrough blueprint events, doing my member calls for our email mastery, and all these. This all comes down to 417 hours,
wow,
which is elegantly about 20% of a 2,200 hour annual thing, right? It's just serendipitous. It turned out like that. But so I've got the hours. Now, the idea of thinking about, now I've got 1,000 hours. If I think about it as an asset now, then putting a value on it, like you know, talking about looking at your effective hourly rate, the time that you're actually spending, not your billable hour, not your...
It's what your revenue less your costs is your profit divided by the number of hours.
Exactly. And so when you look at that, then if I've got 1,000 investable hours that I have, I've got the opportunity now to think like a capital allocator. Like, where's the best place to invest this capital that I have,
and you can compare
for the highest return?
Business vehicles, relationships, models.
Yes, exactly. And so I look at that, and I had a couple of realizations about it. This is where I thought, well, what do I really like? Like, what's the thing? I like working with people one-on-one, as you do.
Yep.
I think it's the most efficient and the best result getting model. Rather, I don't like trying to manage a group dynamic just to create and manage a group. And I realized I've done enough of those that I realized that all the real results and the breakthroughs came from working with people one-on-one.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it, and I'm good at it, and got a framework to do it from. And so I decided that what I would do with this 1,000 hours is I would allocate 200 hours towards doing more of that, a private coaching group. And I decided, this was almost a year ago now. It was just about Thanksgiving, last Thanksgiving. And so I just said, okay, I'm going to start a private coaching group, and I'm going to do it as like a consulting card where people get an 8-hour card that they can use 1 hour at a time for over 8 weeks or 8 months or whatever they like want to do.
Gym 10 visit pack or something.
Absolutely, yes, exactly.
Like my surfing instructor, he sold me 10 surf lessons.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that. And so I thought, okay, so if I do that, and I'm willing to allocate 200 hours towards that one of the realizations that I had was that you can't spend 1,000 hours at one time. No. And it's a pretty profound thought that, the maximum, when you really look at it, that you're not going to spend or invest more than 10 hours. Absolute maximum in a day on that, right?
Yep.
And the thing is that as soon as I am done with today's 10, I get another 10 added right on to the next day in the year.
Yep.
So if I think about them as a rolling 200 hours,
you have a replenishing stock of billable hours.
That's exactly it. So now I keep this at 200, and we keep in my daily dashboard, I have a formula that shows the number of committed hours that I have outstanding.
So it's like a service,
and that number has
tracker.
to be below 200. So when if it's down to 192, I can take on somebody new. If I can go down, if it goes lower, I can.
And the other thing, of course, you're getting paid in advance.
Yes.
And most people won't ever use all of them.
Well, that's true. I'm noticing that some people.
We used to sell 5-hour and 10-hour website development packages.
Uh-huh.
It'll be very rare that someone actually uses all of them.
That's interesting, right?
So you'll have some redundant hours there, and it'll catch up on the average, or whatever that will be.
Yeah.
In fact, I still have only used 6 of my 10 surfing lessons.
Isn't that funny?
It's been about 2 years.
So I look at that. So I've had some people who've been using them, but I look at the dashboard right now. I'm at 144.
Yeah, so you can top up.
So I could top it up if I wanted to. Yeah, and that's kind of a fun thing. Just thinking the reality of how we experience and have time at our disposal is the only time we can spend is today, right? There's only now. I can't spend tomorrow's time today.
The fun thing that comes in with time is is that you can buy other people's time.
That's exactly
They will
right.
sell it to
Yes.
you. It's called a job.
Yes.
And it's also funny.
Joe Polish calls it a behavior rental agreement.
Right.
That's what a job is, a behavior rental agreement.
I've been approaching this at a really similar point. One of the very first activities I do when I'm coaching someone is a task transfer.
Yeah.
List all the tasks
Yeah.
and let's transfer them to someone else.
Yes.
That was a less elegant way of saying who, not how.
Yeah.
Your way is much more elegant.
Yeah.
And I've also worked out what my time commitment is. I'm prepared to commit 20 to 25 hours a week for my business.
Which would put you at about 1,000 to 1,200 hours a year.
It's about 1,000 to 1,200 a year.
Yeah.
And which is where you were half that, and now you're topping up.
I want to get to that. Yeah, but I'm aspiring to that.
And if the funny thing is, if you work out the numbers, if you were to work out like $100,000 a month profit,
yes,
and 100 hours a month, you work out roughly $1,000 per effective hourly rate.
Right.
It really helps protect you from doing very low value activities when you're working with that framework.
Yes.
You normalize to that.
Yes.
And you think, no, I wouldn't do that job. It's not going to end up turning into that sort of a rate.
Right.
And so it's an easy decision-making choice.
Yes.
No, that's something I shouldn't spend time on. Or yes, that's something I should spend time on.
That was it's a great thing when you do have that awareness of what that hourly rate is, and you realize how much you can actually, when you think about, let's use $1,000 an hour as a thing. If you think about even with somebody at $50 an hour, you're getting a 20x thing. If there's anything that if you can in 1 hour give a great brief, a great articulation of a what. That's the key to equipping a who is to be crystal clear at articulating the what, the outcome that you want. And if you can do that, you get that 1,000 hours or that $1,000 investment with that time gives you a multiplier also of that $50 an hour person times 20 hours. It's pretty.
Plus, the other thing is when you are on, like in your case, when someone's buying your time, you're switching out of Dean and into their world. Like you've switched off your life temporarily, and you become completely beholden to them.
Yes.
But you're very motivated at those rates compared to if it was $10.
Right.
Your waitress at the cafe diner motivated at $10 an hour.
Right.
So you're not that, you care but not that much.
Right, exactly.
But when you're getting paid a lot more, you care a lot more.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You can really lean into it.
Yes.
Because you're on.
I agree. And that's why the thing is, that's why I say the thing of taking that at whatever the value is, like on the cards, it works out to be, roughly almost $2,000 an hour, $1,800 something an hour for those.
Even if they get used, it's going to average up.
Maybe. And so
plus I really like that it's self-paced because it's on them and not you.
Right.
Whereas if you have a set time and the time is exceeded, you start getting people saying, I didn't get a chance, can I redo it again? Or so that the timer is on and there's more pressure.
Right.
So you've got a very interesting approach there.
And the whole thing is then that sets the baseline now. I look at that I'm willing to do those 200 hours for that, and I look at that as the minimum that I want to get for those things, so that now on the other end of this, I can take 200 purely investable hours of speculation or result or profit sharing or those kind of hours investing in something being paid for the result. and setting up longer term.
I'm curious, do you have a byproduct from this as well?
Do I have a byproduct?
Yeah.
Not specifically. These calls for email mastery and things like that, I do. But for these one-to-one calls, we record them, but for their benefit only. I'm not like recording them and then packaging it into a product. Listen, now I tell James how to,
Well, I think that defeats a lot of the purpose of having privacy.
Exactly.
In my case, I always take written notes, and I strain the written notes after the call. If there's anything that I haven't already got in my life sheet,
yes,
I put it into its category tab, and I'll add to my database. And that is where I pull from.
What would be an example of that? Like I know that I think about it. I've said some things in those conversations that I've had really great articulations of something.
So you probably wrote them down?
Yeah, well, they're all recorded and transcribed.
Then you would pull all the new bits of information out.
Yes.
You put them into there's a German note-taking system that I read about from Ed Dale, actually sent me. It's like a tabbed index system. But you imagine it's by topics, and every time you get a new thing, let's say one of the topics is email mastery is the topic, and then within that there's like how to do a super signature, there's how to do conversational email replies, there's the 9-word email. And let's say you come up with a new thing altogether. It's like a coupon with deadline technique, right? Like the coupon deadline email response. Then you would go into the nearest category, and then you'd create an extra tab for that, and then you put it in there. So after the call, you say, oh, it came up with this great idea in this call, I've just invented it. I'm going to put it in my tab database system, and now that's your body of work. And over your life, you can build up a brain of all your best ideas in one source. Now someone says, oh, Dean, can you come to my event and talk about conversational email? You go into your tab database. I use mine on a Google Doc, and you just pull out your notes, which are just in the cleanest, most simple, concise form, and you could build out a slide deck. You could talk about them as a podcast. You could make a book from it. So I do a new training every month in Superfast Business Membership, and most often they're coming from my notes that I've collected as a byproduct of doing my coaching calls.
So Joan Rivers had a file folder full of, like a wall of file folders full of every joke, like all typewritten out, so she's going to speak to the farmers associations. You can pick up some.
I remember I used to have a speaker's handbook, and it had all the topics, and in each topic it had some quotes on that topic. It had some bullet points about it. But this is my own life sheet that is a body of work of everything from a webinar structure to a sales letter checklist to how to sell a membership, how to do retention. It's all there in just bullet points, accessible on my phone. And it's built up over doing calls for the last...
These are all archived
There's a tab along the bottom by number. And then there's an index at the front.
No, I mean these are archived in Superfast. Business.
In Silver Circle, there's frameworks and checklists.
I gotcha.
Where I'll sometimes put them. There are some checklists and SOPs in Superfast Business, but they usually materialize as a monthly training.
Gotcha.
So if I have a monthly training on how to sell on the telephone, it will have come from my bullet point notes in there after.
And that training.
5 clients will say, James, I got to sell this over the phone. I'm like, okay, well, here's what you got to do. And then I pull up my life sheet, I pull up the telephone sales, and I see my notes to myself from the last 17 times I've answered this question. And I say, okay, Dean, this is what you do. So now I'm leveraging my own training database to make my coaching much less effort. Plus, if I come up with one new thing with you today, I'm going to add that for next time. And now I've got a whole book there on that topic. So that's my
so
system.
Great, isn't it?
I actually did a training called How to Use the Life Sheet on this topic.
And have you uploaded that into any AI or machine learning
I've tested it in some, but I'm waiting till Watson and whatever gets more powerful. But my premise is that my last decade's worth of coaching notes will have massive value when the AI can take it to the next stage.
Because that's what we're doing.
When it can be me or better.
And categorizing everything under each of the 8 profit activators.
Yes. So you're probably doing that in a formatted way. But I also believe that it will be valuable. So I have notes from every single individual coaching call I've ever done. And it's now electronic format.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more powerful.
Nice. I like that.
So it's a byproduct.
Yeah.
Just like Vegemite comes from beer brewing. It's the yeast extract. Or the cabinets in your kitchen probably from compressed chipboard that came from offcuts, when they're making furniture and stuff, timber, like it's compressed into particle board. So there's lots and lots of byproduct stories that are interesting.
That's so. That's awesome.
Even in Formula One, when they're braking, they store the electronic.
My Tesla does that.
Yeah, back into the engine.
I can show you that. So the Tesla has regenerative braking. So as I take my foot off the gas, as it's slowing down, it's regenerating back.
Well, I guess
power.
It can't currently make you a cappuccino, but it can drive you to the coffee shop by itself.
That's the truth. That's another big development, and it's something that there's a lesson in this. So since last, and you've been experiencing it for the last couple of days, because I got a Tesla X, and it's far and away it's the most unique car that I've ever had. It's not. I've had a long string of BMWs, and this is.
Now, if you ever got a Fiat Jolly, that would be more.
Right, exactly.
Quite unique.
Yes, but this car, there's something profound, James, about waking up every morning with 330 miles of potential to go, right? With a full battery, with a full charge, right? And
it keeps topping itself up.
I'm never going to drive. I have a charger at my house. I'm never going to drive 300 miles in a day. But the thing to know that I have that potential, there's so much, like, I keep thinking about the days. Like, really, the more, there's no way around it. But as I reflect on time and life and look back, the reality, as I've said, is that you can only spend today's time, right? Now, there are some unique ways of going around it. Like, I've been experimenting with the idea of, because I like to think about an abundance of time. We're looking for managing the 3 dials of abundant time and daily joy and financial peace. Those are the 3 kind of lifestyle elements that you look to manage. And so I've always been attracted to freedom as the highest one-time freedom, and that brings me joy to have that. But an abundance of time, when I think about a 16-hour day is essentially 100 10-minute blocks. Have you heard that?
No.
Before?
Never.
So it's an interesting thing when you start to think about as a currency, a 10-minute unit is very useful. I mean, it's it's not an insignificant amount of time.
I actually once registered a domain called snapworker.com.
Okay.
Because I became aware that I was doing very quick, small tasks, and I was much more proficient and prolific at them than any big, meaty, burdensome, annoying, frustrating, big tasks.
Yes.
And I just do small. I get in, get out.
Yes.
Hit and run.
Yes.
I would do my social media in under 10 minutes.
Right.
I would write a quick email in under 10 minutes.
That's what I'm saying, is that kind of
Most
thing.
of the things I do are very short.
Yeah, if you start thinking about now your day as this moving, like, Guitar Hero, runway that it's constantly moving, that everything's coming at you, or like a Tetris game that these 10-minute blocks are coming at you, and your goal is to like.
Interesting with that Tetris thing. Have you found as you've freed up time, time slows down?
Yes, absolutely. That's
and they're
point.
just coming so slow.
Yes.
And other people are walking around like a full Tetris screen, and they got nothing.
Right.
Like, I'm so busy. I'm overwhelmed. Like, and we just got little block cruising down the screen, very slowly.
Yeah.
But we're in the same space in the same time, but the perception of it's completely different.
I have found the useful thing of my, I know I'm being successful when list has always led off with, I know I'm being successful when I can wake up every day and say, what would I like to do today? That's, to me, the ultimate freedom. And what I realized in that, like trying to harmonize that or live, like I found that I was protecting my time for that, avoiding putting anything on my calendar. Like, Warren Buffett likes to have nothing on his calendar, right? And so I look at I've been experimenting with this idea of additionally asking, I know I'm being successful when I can spend a portion of time each day saying, what would I like to do tomorrow? And that is a relaxing thing where, you can, it's like this thing where you're running along with, you've got a passenger of, there's present Dean, and then there's future Dean and aspirational Dean. Like, you've got these multiple parts of you. And that what I realized is that now Dean wants to do only what is needed right now. He's interested in conserving energy and doing, which is, again, one of the most under-talked about drives, that we're genetically wired to conserve energy. We're wired to, eat and to, seek, avoid pain and to seek pleasure and conserve energy.
Pleasure is the absence of pain. So it's all about avoiding
right, exactly.
pain.
And so President Dean only wants to do, that's why President Dean wants to wait till the last minute for everything, because, and I'm talking, everybody's got a President Dean. You've got a President James in there. That's the person that wants to wait till the last minute for everything, right? And that I finally figured out why books work so well as a lead generation thing compared to a webinar, in that a webinar is a commitment that President Dean has to make. If somebody's saying, you're signing up for, I'm not going to have really time for that. But it's like a book, you can take action now, and it's almost like President Dean is like buying this book for future Dean, when future Dean's going to have some time to read, and future Dean will like this, I'll buy this, and you got hoping that future Dean's going to have time to.
I won't fill in a webinar registration.
Yes,
just because, especially if it's on demand.
Yes,
I'm not going to sit there and watch a webinar.
That's exactly right.
And so most people don't ever open the book or read it.
That's absolutely the truth.
50% of Kindles.
But that doesn't stop them from asking for it. And that's why I said that's why I've done the 90-minute book has been such
because you get an email.
Yes, and it's done its job.
Yes, that's what the whole point.
The title, yes.
We've talked about this before, where
we should do a book, a supplement to yours is write less, make more.
Well, I truly agree with that.
Yeah.
Like a smaller book, you were making this point recently that very small books can have a huge impact. You had a couple of great examples.
I did. I shot a video And I used the examples of Common Sense by Thomas Paine, which is the book that was the foundation in the 1700s for the founding fathers of the United States to base the Constitution on. And on the opposite end of that spectrum, the Communist Manifesto. Now, Common Sense by Thomas Paine is 82 pages. The Communist Manifesto is just under 30 pages.
Right.
But you couldn't find two bigger ideas that have been
So if someone wants 500
ignited,
pages, like what could they possibly have that's a bigger idea than...
That's what I say to them. That's really the thing. It's like, yeah, really? Like you're going to have a bigger idea than that? You need more than... And
it's definitely not about the number of pages.
No. It is about the title.
So we talked before about setting your future self up for a better time. It's like if you've ever got to the day that you have to travel somewhere and you're like groaning, oh my God, why did I agree to this? Like you've stitched yourself up.
Yes.
So that's why I created decision-making filters for myself.
Yes, tell me about that.
Well, it's just a little checklist to ensure that you're not going to make your future self have a difficult time. I actually future pace, and I think, okay, so it's now the day I have to fly to Florida, and I've printed out my ticket and I've got my passport. Am I feeling good about getting into the Uber, or am I feeling remorse for making this choice? And then I weigh up what are the positives for going, what are the negatives, what else could I be doing with the same time, what could lead from the relationships or the contacts made, etc. And then what commitments do I owe, all of these things. And if the decision's I'm still happy for it, then I'll roll with it. And I've gotten to this trip and rolled through it. This is my one trip to the USA this year. It's the first time away from the baby. The contacts here that I've been able to reconnect with and re-establish with have been phenomenal. The opportunities I can put forward for my business partners have been tremendous, and I'm very excited to be speaking tomorrow. I think this room is perfect for me, the people in it and the messaging that's been put forward so far. So I'm actually and also I've had a good sleep plan and food plan. So I'm actually managing this trip particularly well.
Set some kind of land speed record at my house, 14 hours.
So I had to stay up a little while to earn that. And you can make a big difference though. Like you could ruin your trip if you counter-cyclical with your sleep, not optimize it. But I've managed to make it work through a bit of planning and experience and knowing what works for me.
I love it. So this whole idea of thinking ahead and knowing that even that little thing, like to spend one 10-minute unit, one 10-minute block on out of 100 that you have today, one 10-minute block on just asking that question, what can I do to set future Dean up? What can I do in the next 10 minutes for future Dean that would be that he's really going to appreciate?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
That's, like I've often, I'll be sitting in my house and I'll be thinking, I'm so happy past James got this place.
Yes.
It was an effort.
Yeah.
You got to buy and go through a transaction and deal with people and contracts and pay money and
Thank you, past James.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And then I look across to my surfboard rack and I'm like, I'm so glad past James started this sport 6 years ago.
Right.
What a legend. But then I think I'm going to go out now. I'm going to practice so that future James can have the best time in the Maldives. He'll be able to take off on the better waves. He'll know exactly what equipment to ride. I'll go and put in today's disciplinary training session.
Yes.
Even if it's a bit rainy, even if the swell's not perfect, I'm just going to set myself up in the future.
That's perfect.
And I think that's why we do a lot of health things. What we put in our mouth today might dictate if we're in a hospital bed in 20 years from now.
I think, and that's one of those
Would I look
things
back, think, I wish I'd done a little bit better?
It's absolutely one of the things that actually has, that has permanent ramifications.
Big time.
Money, if you wasted time and didn't optimize your money making, that's not going to kill you.
No.
If you didn't optimize your time learning or reading or doing any of those things, that's not going to kill you. But the time, over time, the daily decision of not surfing or keeping
makes it significant.
Makes it now difficult that it's like, that's what I, realized too, that you can't, there's no leverage in the health stuff in terms of you can't get rapid results for the, like you can where there are multipliers kind of thing, There are, but not in the same way. It's still the physical laws.
It's currently hard to outsource yourself.
Well, yeah, you can't outsource the push-ups.
You can't just you can't cheat ahead with that.
That's exactly right.
You can get surgery to remove chub or whatever, but if your eating patterns and fitness aren't there, you're still going to have underlying issues.
Yes, that's
so it's
right.
it's like what I like about surfing in a way. Like you got to be present for that. It's like it develops your stoicness.
Yeah,
it's like you got to do it. Yeah. You got to paddle out. You get yourself out there and it's big. You got to get yourself back in, and there's no palming this one off. There's no deferring it or making someone else a scapegoat. Like you got to own it.
It's really interesting. Speaking of stoic, is that I've been reading Seneca, and it's crazy to me when you read these to think that these were the conversations they're having in 35 BC, that they're still having the same. Like I remember I was reading letters from a Stoic, and this is Seneca sending letters to his protege, and he's talking about this idea of picking one, the thing of picking one text, one book, one master, and going deep in this, as opposed to like just constantly getting new things when you haven't digested what the first. In more than applicable now. BC, they're talking about this as a problem.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's even more
massive problem,
of a bigger problem now. It's crazy, but that's so much.
That's why my mentor at the time was making me watch old movies and learn from the past.
Yeah.
In fact, that's one of the pattern things. He studied every battlefield where he was at war. Mm-hmm. What happened 800 years ago? What happened 300 years ago? What happened last year? And he could actually communicate with the previous battlers. He thought he could talk to them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was almost mystical.
I'm going to have to look into him.
The thing that was the classic was, when he was having a tank battle with Rommel, and he beat him, and he said, "Rommel, you fabulous bastard," and he's holding Rommel's tank warfare strategy guide.
What
from
movie
that
is
battle.
This? Where do I watch this?
It's called Patton.
Patton, okay.
With Gregory Peck.
Yeah, exactly.
It was an Academy Award winner.
Okay,
in 1970 or something.
Right.
And I've watched it many, many times.
Oh, that's so
He also
great.
made me watch Mr. George Goes to Washington.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington about filibuster.
Okay.
And he made me read Atlas Shrugged and all these very interesting things. Also about automotive history. Yeah. That's how I realised most of it came from French. And the great tulip craze. That prevented me from getting caught up in all the Dutch cryptocurrency bullshit.
Cryptocurrency, right.
They're all like crazy in our industry. And I said, this is the tulip craze. And they thought I'm an idiot. And they all lost their money. It's kind of funny.
That is amazing.
It's like because I already knew history.
Yes.
And if you don't read history, you're destined to repeat it over and over again, but not benefit.
Isn't it funny? I was saying to
the
somebody
lessons.
the other day that it's been like I was not into Western Civ in college, but that now it's like the thing that I'm most fascinated by. I wish I'd paid more attention.
I didn't do history at school, but I'm fascinated by it now.
Yeah.
And I have a new appreciation.
When you realize the value of it.
Like I was telling John Carlton about reading my great-grandfather's diaries, and he said, oh, how wonderful that is to be able to do that. But he essentially did what I do 100 years ago. In 1916, he was journaling, which is like blogging, and travelling around the world, buying and selling, doing geo arbitrage. That's exactly what I do.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, but he did it on boats, and it took him a long time to get places.
And you look at now, like I think going into the 20s, we were talking about that. I'm very excited about the first proper decade of the millennium here. We're going into the 20s as with a fully stacked capability kit. That, execution now has been fully commoditized. And I mean, I'm saying commoditized in the good sense of the word, in that the beneficial sense that you can buy commodity, you can buy stuff. And I point to Kylie Jenner. That's since we last talked, because Kylie Jenner is a billionaire now. And she has a team of 7 people. That's it. Her core team is 7 people, and it's who not how, because she partners with a white label to make the product, partners with a distribution company to package and fulfill. She partners with her mom's company to do the administration. She partners with Shopify for all of the e-commerce, and she and her core team just focus on the what's. What are we going to make? What colors do we want to use? What are we going to call it? What do we want it to look like? What are we, what's our approach going to be? What's our strategy? What is the entrepreneurial opportunity question? And then the who is who can do all of this stuff. And the good news is that there's not a single who, that anything that you can think of that's already been done is possible. There are people who you can tap into through your pipeline to Cloudlandia to get those executions fulfilled without you having to think about it. I think that is going to be a really growth career opportunity. There'll be jobs in integrating ideas with Cloudlandia to be, a project, the new project manager of being able to take something and integrate it with, with a distributed or on-demand workforce. Yeah. Have you read Exponential Organizations by Salim Ismail?
I own it, but I haven't read it.
It's so good. I mean, it's really, that's what he talks about, is these, all the new capabilities, the new exponential organizations out there. Because Kylie's done that all in 3 years, go from zero to, $350 billion or $350 million in sales. Yeah.
Wow. So I guess we've got to wrap up soon, get off to our official evening commitments.
I always love these catching up. I think this is a good, it almost feels like no time has passed.
None. And when we synchronize, just back to usual. It's just bridged over many years.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's truly a great symbiotic relationship. But in my world, your stuff's just omnipresent. Everyone in my entire community is doing 9-word emails.
I love to hear that.
Super signatures.
Yes.
I'm perpetuating who, not how as well in my own slide presentations.
Yes.
Yeah, so your ideas are strong. And were talking before. If you take a long-term view in this market, it's probably wise, because I was supposed to seek you out and track you down 10 years ago, and I was given your name by Brad Fallon as the guy behind the people that I should talk to. I'd never heard of you before, and he said if I could arrange a catch-up with him, would you fly to Florida to meet him? And I said, I will. Here we are 10 years later.
And we're in Florida.
Catching up. And finally ticked that box of a in Florida meetup with Dan Jackson.
Exactly.
But we filled a lot of ground in the meantime.
That's it. And this is great. It's nice because we're going to get another meetup in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we should do another episode.
Yes, while we're in Manly.
Take advantage of the opportunity. That's now James committing future James and future Dean to an episode. Deans. But I think they'll get there and think that was a good idea.
That was a good. They're going to be thankful.
Yeah, they will.
That we did that,
because we're taking advantage of the ability to increase the frequency.
I love it. I love it.
Always a pleasure, Dean.
And there we have it. Another great episode. Thanks for listening in. If you want to continue the conversation, we'll go deeper in how the 8 profit activators can apply to your business. 2 things you can do. Right now, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com and you can download a copy of the More Cheese Less Whiskers book, and you can listen to the back episodes, of course, if you're just listening here on iTunes. Secondly, the thing that we talk about in applying all of the 8 profit activators are part of the breakthrough DNA process. And you can download a book and a scorecard and watch a video all about the 8 profit activators at breakthroughdna.com. And that's a great place to start the journey in applying this scientific approach to growing your business. That's really the way we think about Breakthrough DNA, as an operating system that you can overlay on your existing business and immediately look for insights there. So that's it for this week. Have a great week, and we will be back next time with another episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.